Things are getting juicy in the sky with Modrons this week on Hapless Heroes.
Taste it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. I am Francesco, and I am your host and DM as we continue this exciting combat and get back into the swing of things way up high in the sky above the city of Uhl. Before we do that, I'm going to do what I do every week and introduce this wonderful cast of characters we have for you. You know them, you love them. We have on my virtual left, we have Dave playing Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Good evening, everyone.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
Get out of the way, I got stabbing to do.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
It's showtime.
Zach as Pregnart.
I sure wish I could cast Earthquake in the sky here.
And John as Lord Jarrell the Light.
You shall not succeed, you foul monster.
Mike, unfortunately, cannot be with us tonight, so Quinn, at the top of initiative, goes invisible. And speaking of the top of initiative, there's some things happening up here. So you've now been fighting against the future Ebenezer, who's sort of sprouted wings and now possesses this magical scythe that he presumably has stolen from Arion Black. It looks very similar to that one, at least.
And we're still not really clear on who future Ebenezer is, really, right?
Yeah, because when you look at them, it's not like their features have any sort of resemblance at this point to either of the two individuals you've met down below, but that's mostly because his face is metallic.
He doesn't have a name tag that might have a faded thing on it that says Ebenezer Jr. or Philbert
maybe you could find out during this combat, but as so far we haven't seen anything of the sort. Some other things have been happening. So Quinn did have haste applied to him, and so there may be some things that are happening with that, but we can't tell because he's invisible now. And there was also something that future Ebenezer was trying to do to the ley line that you have interrupted him during this combat. He's now swung around with it. He had initially been stabbing his scythe into the ley line, and you could see there was this energy spreading through it, but y'all tied him up a little bit, and now he's swung around with the scythe in hand to face you with both hands at the ready, essentially. But we're just going to go right back to the top of initiative since we left off in the middle of combat, and that is actually Boris. So Boris, it is your turn.
Oh God, I'm not prepared for this.
You were engaged with future Ebenezer.
I'm not really engaged. I mean, I'm going.
You threw your dagger at him, right?
him.
I'm pretty sure. Or you shot a hand crossbow at him. I think is what I recall.
You turned around. You were going straight balls to the wall at Vecna for a little bit, and Jarrell talked you out of it.
Did she talk me out of it? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, for the audience, as you know, it's been actually several weeks since we've been able to record due to summertime things. So we're getting our bearings.
I'm going off of my own notes, which just say that I'm 30 feet from future Ebenezer and that he's really intimidated by my Hellhound skull, probably.
Yeah. And I remember, and I do recall that you had fired a hand crossbow at him on your last turn to try to just do something. Because so you're you're, at least for the moment, your attention has turned to him.
It's in my secondary hand because I was flying hand out, holding the shard at Vecna, so that's still there. Okay.
Right. There's also stuff happening in the air, right? Actually, I probably should remind the rest. There's other things going on. Vecna himself and the Primus are also engaged in battle. So that's happening as well.
Yeah, you said Vecna was blasting these beams through the Modrons, just disintegrating them, and then Primus is like deflecting these beams.
Yeah, it's just hard to see now because it's just like it's all just because when the Modrons are defeated, they just turn to dust. So like the sky is now just like it's hazy. There's like essentially a fog of war, like forming above you, making it much harder to see what's happening beyond that and in that battle that's happening above you. So the immediate attention though is on future Ebenezer, at least for the time being. So you guys have damaged him a little bit, but yeah, Boris, you're still 30 feet from him. You can, you choose what you want to do here.
Am I the closest person to him right now?
No. I believe that Jarell's right up in there.
Like within 5 feet up in there?
Jarell, did you close on your last turn? I actually don't have that written down here because I'm terrible at this.
I don't recall either, but I know that that's what I was going to do.
Because you were at the bottom of initiative. You guys were a little far away from him. I know you were moving your way up. I just wasn't sure if you had made it. I think you had dashed, and I think you might be like 10 feet from him.
Very important for how much damage I can do.
Yeah, because I remember you did not have sneak attack on your last turn.
Yeah.
But I know Jarell was making his way up there. I just don't think he's actually in range yet, because he has not swung, because obviously future Ebenezer still has a health bar, essentially. Listen, John, I have a video of how many dice you roll when it's time, so, like, I know what's coming when the first hit lands.
Fran, you said he had a, like, stone growth on him? I've got a note here. It said, Ebenezer siphons life from Quinn, and he has a stone growth over his form.
Yes, there was it appeared like almost like a spell had been cast that actually like covered his entire body in almost this like stone, like scaly stone, like material.
All right, well, I mean, I'm going to end up throwing my dagger at him. I just need to know how I'm throwing my dagger at him, and that depends on whether or not somebody's within 5 feet of him.
That's a negative currently. Jarell will be on his next turn.
Damn it, that's so far from now.
Hey. If anything, I mean, if it's any consolation, he's acting before 0 this time.
Just hold my action here, though, right? So I'm gonna like
You
fly
could.
a little closer to him.
How
I'm
much
gonna
closer?
I like 10 feet from him.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of with Jarell at this point, then. So you also now gain whatever benefits you had gained from being next to Jarell.
Which are
Cool.
quite
Cool.
plentiful.
I'm not afraid of anything, including my own hellhound skull. Jarell might be a little intimidated by me right now, but
And you're
it's okay.
you're essentially asking to use your reaction to attack once Jarell is or another ally is within 5 feet.
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. I'm just gonna
Smart. If anything,
I put the shard of Vecna in between my teeth like a pirate climbing the side of a ship, and then pull out my dagger to ready it.
I will say that as soon as you put it between your teeth, the shard is impossibly cold. Like you almost feel like it's your teeth hurt the second you put it in your mouth.
Okay, well then I immediately, before even letting go of it, swap it for my dagger, I guess, in my dagger sheath.
Yeah, it didn't feel cold in your hand, but the second you had
like
put it, the second it made contact with your lips, and it felt almost unbearably cold.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So, yep, I'll have it noted here to trigger your reaction when that condition is met. So, moving on, then we're going to be going to it would have been Quinn. Quinn is invisible, and we are now on to Pregnart.
Pregnart casts. Wait, how far is he away from Ebenezer Jr.?
Ebenezer. Like,
wait, I mean the one we're looking. Wait, hang on.
future Ebenezer.
With Pregnart's passive perception, does he notice any name tag on future Ebenezer?
Oh my God, no, he does not.
That's unfortunate. All right, Pregnart. How far away is Pregnart from future Ebenezer?
I'm trying to remember. You flew up a little bit, but you you were a little ways back from Jarrell because he had cast protection from evil and good on you, so you were kind of set if you were separated. I think you were 30 feet from Jarrell. Again, audience, if I'm wrong on this, whatever, I am the DM, so I'm making shit up, and that's where they are now.
Is it reasonable that I can move up? Is it reasonable that I can move up to within 90 feet of future?
I would say that you are already within 90 feet of future Ebenezer.
I'm gonna call him Nezzy from now on. I'm gonna set my sights on Nezzy, and I'm gonna cast Watery Sphere at him.
Okay, tell me what happens.
With Watery Sphere, I can cast a sphere of water with a 5-foot radius at a point that I see within range. Any creature in the sphere's space must make a strength saving throw. On a successful save, a creature is ejected from that space to the nearest unoccupied space. So on and so forth. On a failed save, a creature is restrained by the sphere and engulfed by the water. At the end of each of its turns, a restrained target can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a success.
Okay, so making a strength save.
That's right.
Nat 1. Son of a bitch. It's going back in the bag.
Grave in the sky. It's getting juicy.
So what?
Nezzy's going back to the icy depths of a watery sphere.
So he's inside the sphere.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sphere, this sphere of water just engulfs the form of future Ebenezer. Is there damage associated with this as well?
Or
is he just restrained?
I think he's just restrained. Hang on.
What's the actual condition? This is cool. Interesting. I don't think this is the first time we've used this one. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah. I think he's just restrained. I think this is the first time we've used it against like an enemy per se. I think I might have used it before as like an instrument to like make my way through something. Sure. That sounds, or maybe I just planned to. Who knows? I may have just shot a sunbeam out my ass for good measure.
It does say it is just restrained. So, and he will repeat the save on each of his turns. So just to remind everybody, restrained means that the creature has a speed of 0 and can't benefit from any bonuses to speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, Nicole. And creature's attack rolls have disadvantage, so he can still attack. He just can't. He's at disadvantage, and the creature has disadvantage on dex saves. Okay.
I should clarify before the end of Pregnard's turn too. I had put protection from evil and good on him, but then later I used Aura of Life, and that's the one I currently have on. So Pregnard does not have the protection from evil and good. Jarrell has a 30-foot radius of Aura of Life for the next couple minutes.
And I'm going to use a sorcery. I'm going to use a sorcery point to use a quickened spell to cast message. Oh yeah, I have to use two sorcery points for that. And I'm gonna use it for message. and I'm gonna ask Nezzy.
Are you Ebenezer or are you Ebenezer Jr.?
He replies, I am the most perfect version of me.
Wait, can I respond again?
No, you cannot. That's action, that's bonus action, that's movement. It seems like we've hit your action economy, so we are moving down to Hedrick.
Hedrick had just cast Crown of Stars.
Yes, you did.
So he would target...
You fired one mote so far, correct? Or have you not fired any?
I don't think I fired a single one. Because
I think you just cast it, and then it's because you cast it as like a on your last turn, but you did some other stuff. So yeah,
I think my bonus action was to inspire somebody, and
Correct.
then my action was to get the stars going.
correct. And I believe that now you can fire a star as using your bonus action if you wanted to.
Yep.
Correct? Cool.
Yep. I have a note here. I'm 60 feet away,
Okay.
and also like Jarrell's aura is only for 30 feet. Is that correct?
30.
So, Hedrick's gonna fly forward to get within the aura, just normal movement, and then he's going to fire a mote with advantage.
Yes, you have advantage on the attack.
Oh, it's a natural 20.
That's a crit we'd like to see.
So this is interesting, as they are D12s. I believe it's 4. Yeah.
So
I don't have enough 12s on hand.
but 12 times
40.
But 12 times 4 is 48. So 48
48.
plus 40, 12.
I had to find one. I didn't want to pour out my whole bag.
I feel the same way. It's like the die that I'm looking for is always the one that's like the deepest within the bag.
23. 23 plus 48, 71.
The mote from your crown fires straight into this watery sphere. You can kind of see the silhouette of, future Ebenezer inside of just this swirling like globe of water, essentially, right? And it pierces him straight in the chest. There is a large flash as it explodes with radiant energy. And after your eyes kind of adjust to the light, you can see that his form has split. And that same energy you guys saw in Ardwall, with like the wispy, like soul-like energy that was like floating around, like all the stuff, bursts out from the watery sphere and heads straight for Hedrick. Hedrick, please make me what kind of save would this be? Hold on, let me just look. Please make me an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence saving throw.
Correct.
Okay. A 15.
Hedrick, you feel this energy kind of like course through your body and begin to assault your mind. You almost feel as though your consciousness is being almost pulled to the backdrop. You know this? Has anyone seen Get Out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay. Well, just the pulling of like your vision and your consciousness almost back from your eyes. So it's almost like you're starting to feel as though you're losing control of your own body.
This is just a reaction to him taking radiant damage like that?
It's the reaction. It's just what happened after the explosion and his form split.
Okay.
Because you can see now that his semi-metallic body, right, or like whatever was forming that, has now like broken into pieces. Like the arms and legs are detached, right? The chest is just blown open. The head was detached as well, and it's all just swirling around in the water. But you are now possessed, Hedrick. So when we reach your turn next, I'm gonna suggest some things for you to do, and you will likely have no choice but to do them. The rest of you see this happen to Hedrick. You see this sort of like wispy, like energy, like just like hit Hedrick like a sack of bricks, and you kind of like see him like kind of float back, just sort of like limp for a moment, and then he kind of comes back upright, and his eyes are glowing a deep green.
Deep green.
Deep green.
And you hear the voice of future Ebenezer speak through Hedrick's lips. There's no way you win this, Let me do what I need to do and stop meddling in my affairs. You already had the chance to work with me before. I offered you salvation. I offered you glory and opportunity, and you spat in my face. If you do not wish to see your precious companion die, cease what you are doing now and return to wherever the fuck you came from. Or actually, you know what? Should I do that in a Hedrick accent instead, since it's coming through his vocal cords?
Yeah.
It works either way.
I just want to add, I do have my feature Fool's Luck, and I did not think of it at the time. I could have added a D12, possibly 12 to that roll.
That's cool.
Well, I might need it for another saving throw.
You still have that, and I would be happy to use that feature. Thank you, Hedrick.
No, I think that would be appropriate. You know, it gets turned back on me after the DM.
So Hedrick,
excuses.
if I were to remember correctly, so that's what happened on your turn, and you failed this save. And guess whose turn it is next? None other than future Hedronezzar. And he / Hedrick turns to eeny, meeny, miny Boris. And let's look at your sheet, bud. Let's look at your sheet. Let's see what we got.
It's always a bad sign when Frank gets really excited about something like that.
I'm gonna have Hedrick make the rolls, though. I want Phil to roll.
To feel
for...
like he's doing this to us.
Yeah. I'm gonna choose the actions, but I will let Phil roll for them. We'll play it out that way, so that there's this honesty, this contract we have with each other, where I'm just borrowing Hedrick for a little bit here. So, Hedrick, give me a single target spell you have. What's a nice single target damage spell you got?
He still has 6 motes of light flying around his head.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Hedrick / Ebenezer is going to fire as a bonus action one of those motes of light at you, Boris. Hedrick, would you like to roll that for me, please?
Boris, how close are you to me?
I'm like on top of you, basically.
I think is it 8 plus? It's an 8 on the die.
And that's going to be plus your spell attack bonus, your ranged spell attack bonus. So that would be charisma plus proficiency.
Oh, it's plus 10. 18.
And Jarrell, is there anything that you're doing in response here?
I can only give advantage on spells, or protection against spells, or like rolls that she would make.
Do you have your? Does your protection fighting style count here, or does it not count for ranged attacks?
5 feet.
Oh, okay.
That's why I keep asking how far everyone.
Well, she said. Oh, I thought Boris had said that she had moved next to you.
Like we're like on top of each other. No, I said on top of you.
Yeah, you're on top of each other.
If that's the case, then I can use my protection fighting style.
So that's
I'm
a reaction.
Right next to you with my. Yeah.
Right. So I believe that's a reaction, and then you would be using you would be giving her what, like +3 AC, I think it is.
Disadvantage on the attack.
Roll another one, Phil, please.
Oh, that's 15 total.
Does a 15 hit your AC, Nicole or Boris? I think 18 was your AC, if I recall correctly.
It's 17.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the mote misses. Jarrell sees it coming and just quickly deflects it in another direction, and it sails off into the distance.
If you could see close enough, you would see a little tear starting to form and drip down each cheek.
Yeah, because Hedrick, nice. So it literally feels like you are just a spectator. Like your body is moving involuntarily. Like everything you're doing to fight this, like you cannot seem to gain control right now. Like you're fighting with everything you have, but you feel like you're losing your grip on your own like mortal form, essentially, while this is happening. As an action, Ebenezer / Hedrick will then fly angrily towards Boris and Jarrell. Boris, your reaction does trigger. Do you stab Hedrick?
I was worried that was going to happen.
Do I have the option to stab somebody lightly? Probably not, right? That's not a
No.
thing.
You roll damage. Yes, you roll the damage. I mean,
do it.
I
guess
recommend-
we could try to.
Boris
I guess we
stab
could.
Hedrick. Hang
I
on.
get-
Let me.
I'm gonna say, and we could house rule some sort of like punch pulling thing, right? But like, as far as the rules, like, there's not necessarily anything except for like, if you were to reduce a creature to 0, you can choose to knock them out instead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna like non-fade. Yeah. I'd stab. Yep. Boris.
With the intention of
in
knocking him out,
reaction.
you stab him in the face.
Yeah. Maybe not in the face. I think he needs the face is the money maker. Let's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, I'm gonna stab for guts. You can lose a significant amount of intestine and still be totally fine as a human being.
So Hedrick, you can
All right, I
see
need
from
to-
you can see from this, like, internal perspective that you have of what's happening. Boris essentially winding up the dagger.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I'm also like, gonna like kind of, right? Because I'm throwing it. It does more damage that way. So like, I'm like,
You're gonna throw it within, just throw it within that 5 feet, just as he's approaching. Yeah, makes
throw
sense.
it, and also mouth the word "sorry" as I'm throwing it at him.
How very Canadian of you. How very Canadian
Yep.
of you.
And then, okay, wait. Okay, my roll was not fantastic at 21 for the hit.
Hedrick, does 21 hit your AC?
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
Well,
Okay, so I might give it. Okay, let's see what I do to Hedrick.
Ugh.
looks like you still have some temp HP to burn through, so.
Wait, did you break free from the sphere?
No.
No.
The mode of light popped.
Yes. Like
Okay.
the form of future Ebenezer that was there is no longer is broken apart and just swirling around in there.
Okay. Do we want to just hand wave and ignore this? But I made the mistake of casting it midair because it can only hover up to 10 feet off the ground.
Well,
You
it's
can
okay.
control water,
No,
right?
because if anything, like, it's just going to start, like, now the parts of him are going to start plummeting to the ground.
Including the
So
scythe.
the scythe does not appear to be there. That is a great question. That is a great question. The scythe is not among the things that are floating around in there.
Because I always
That
suspected
goes
the
my
scythe
turn.
had more power than Ebenezer did. That's why he needed it so bad.
Well, he needed the other thing that you guys have pretty badly too, but I guess that was the next best thing.
B4 was the math also, so right now he needs a doctor.
How much?
44?
44
Okay.
damage. That burns through the 20 temp HP buffer, plus then an additional 24 from your max HP. It's okay. Hedrick looks hurt, but there's like a pained cry that you can hear in almost the dual voice of Hedrick and future Ebenezer. Like, their voices are almost like happening at the same time.
It definitely took a chunk out of him.
Hey, Phil, can we try something?
Yeah.
I'm gonna count 3, 2, 1, and you and I both just go, ah! All right, you ready?
Okay.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah! All right, that's your reaction. He will now continue with the action as before, and you see that Hedrick / Ebenezer goes to pull out Hedrick's your rapier.
Okay.
And as it comes out from the sheath, all of a sudden, like, it just kind of keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and then it just like explodes with this black energy, and it's the scythe.
Fantastic.
Wow. Okie dokie.
And he will make an attack roll against Boris because Jarell doesn't have another reaction to use. So,
Neither does Boris.
Yeah, does a 21 hit your AC?
Only a little bit.
Damn it, friend! Don't ask it every time. She's at her AC with 17.
I know.
Leave
I'm
it
sorry.
at that.
I just
you
really
know
like.
you're hitting her with a giant scythe.
I just really like asking sometimes. It feels procedural, right? Like it feels right.
Probably should have saved my reaction instead of stabbing Hedrick there.
Probably.
Okay, you will take.
It was a natural instinct sort of thing. You can't help that stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna take 16 slashing damage
Oh, it's not that bad. I'm fine.
and 12 necrotic damage.
Oh, you're resistant to necrotic damage while you're in 30 feet of me.
6 necrotic damage.
Oh, wait, 16 piercing and 6 necrotic. I don't have anything that saves me from piercing, do I? No. Okay, so 20.
It was slashing, not piercing.
Oh, okay. 22 damage. Oh, God.
I had to roll
Forrest
that
is
one because
looking-
it was.
Forrest is looking slightly ragged up in the sky there.
And that would be the end of that turn. I will make you save again, Hedrick.
All right.
At the end of your next, when we
That's
get to
what I
your
figured.
turn
As
next
my
initiative,
next
yeah.
turn. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to because I just feel like I'm not trying to just steal you forever. I mean, there should be an element of you trying to fight out of that. So moving on, we are going to Jarrell. Jarrell, your friend, your possessed friend, stands before you and just really hurt your other friend.
Jarrell floats towards Hedrick, puts his hand on his forehead, and goes, "Be gone!" and uses cleansing touch.
What does that do?
I end a spell.
You end a spell.
On another willing creature by touch.
This is not a spell.
Oh, well, apparently that was wasted then.
It was, unfortunately.
Damn it.
Were there any other spells affecting you, Hedrick? Any beneficial spells or anything like that you had on yourself before? I don't. Oh, actually, yeah, it does. Fly ends. And now Hedrick /
You
future
did say
Ebenezer.
a willing creature, though, right?
Yeah.
Does it have to make us? Does he have to make it? Well, okay, Hedrick would be willing, but currently it is and it isn't Hedrick. So this is kind of a weird conundrum to have here, because technically, right now, Hedrick is unwilling. Is there any additional ruling for that? If not, that's fine. What I will try to do is I will just have a roll happen here if there isn't a ruling for this. Like I'm going to add one.
Is
Right.
Hedrick willing to follow to the sky right now?
What's up?
Are either of them willing to fall out of the sky right
I was going to
now?
say, could we do a straight D20 roll off, and whoever's higher has that save?
Can choose to be willing, or
Yeah,
I like that, dude. I like that. That's a great idea. Look at us
Okay,
making up rules
no-
as we go
no
along.
mods, just
no mods,
straight-
just straight up D20. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
1, 2,
2, 3.
Oh! Alright, I gotta take a picture.
They're a 1 or a 20, that means.
Did you roll another 20?
All we know is he didn't reach down before he grabbed the phone, so it's a genuine picture.
Uh-huh. Yeah, put it in the chat.
Do the best I can here.
Oh,
That's
my
2 already.
goodness. Well,
A natural,
Hedrick,
folks, a natural. Thank you very much. Thank you.
yeah, I would say that you get to make this save or make the determination here. Are you a willing creature,
I'm a
Hedrick?
very willing creature. I've
You
never
would like-
been more willing in my entire life.
You feel this, you feel the, like Hedrick, you briefly regain control of your senses for a moment. But again, I did already kind of describe what was going to happen here. Hedrick is willing. A spell will end. The only spell I know that's on Hedrick is Fly.
Is
But-
fly.
We have to respect.
Stars?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna roll something then, and we'll figure out which one gets ended. Do you have? Because did you get to choose? Like it just says, like, can you give me the full? Yeah, let's read the full thing of this spell, because I want to make sure that we get this right, because this is kind of important.
All I have is Cleansing Touch, Charisma modifier per long rest. As an action, I can end one spell
Oh, okay,
on
got
me
it.
or another willing creature by touch.
Okay, so you can choose what spell to end. You were trying to end the possession.
Possession. I thought that might be a spell. If I got to choose, I would definitely end the Motes of Light on him.
I feel like that makes the most sense, and I think you do get to choose. So yeah, motes of the Crown of Stars, as cool as it was, is definitely probably the best thing to
It's
end
not
on
going to be
Hedrick.
shot at us anymore.
You don't want those getting shot at you anymore. That is
No,
very smart, and I
it's
think
smart,
that's
yeah.
the play. That's the play. So yep, Crown of Stars ends. So those motes of light that were shedding this bright light around Hedrick's head are now gone. Anything that's your action, Jarrell.
So Boris is looking hurt. I don't think the rest of us have been hit yet, right?
I think, yeah, and you know, I mean, Hedrick looks hurt.
I've taken a little bit of damage. Yeah, I'll do it now. I'll do my turn the tide now.
Okay, and you're choosing to
Then-
not include Hedrick in this group of people you are selecting, I'm assuming, correct?
Well, I don't want Hedrick to die.
No, but currently Hedrick's body is possessed, so...
I thought my cleansing touch might remove that, but I don't know if I have anything that can even remove a possession right now, except for obviously a ceremony.
Exorcism time.
We don't have time!
We're gonna
We don't
pull
have
another
time.
exorcism right now.
Or we do have time.
Let me see.
Time for an expressorcism.
1d6 plus my charisma modifier. So
What, Dave?
Expressorcism's pretty good. They got a smile from me, for sure.
we all get 6 HP back.
Okay. So everyone who, except for Hedrick, or including Hedrick?
I'll include Hedrick.
All right, Hedrick, go ahead and add 6 HP back to your health. Thanks.
Okay.
That's a very Jarrell thing to do.
Yeah.
Heal your friend who is currently your enemy but is still your friend. In fact, I'll give you DM's inspiration for that.
Ooh, nice.
Haven't given that out in a while, I feel like. So, you know,
That'll
it's
come
high
in handy.
time. Yeah, it's high time we gave that out. This is important stuff that we got going on right now, so we might as well, you know, give you something to save for a particularly difficult thing that's happening. So, that would be all of the stuff that's happening on the enemy's turn. We're gonna go, and then that's Jarrell. There's got nothing
Yeah, that's my
else
turn.
happening with you. Sorry. Anything else happening? No, nothing. Great. Zero. What do you choose to do? This
Well,
this
I was
situation got a
going-
little more complicated.
Yeah, I was going to look to the sphere and see if the scythe was left there, but since that's not an option just yet, looking at my tool bag and everything here looks like a hammer.
Or a Gatling gun.
Which is just a
Yeah.
very fast firing hammer.
Yeah. It's all metaphorical.
Are we about to start a debate now on our Discord? Is a crossbow just a hammer with a pointy end? It's just a
Yes.
ranged hammer.
I was gonna say, a hammer can be ranged.
Yeah,
You
yes,
can throw a hammer.
sure can.
I'm not sure that's a
We're all familiar with Thor.
a fair comparison. Yeah.
Yes, and if you get hit by a ranged hammer, you will be Thor. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to shoot our way through this problem, but we're gonna be nice and we're not gonna do any sharpshooting. We're just gonna do our regular combat roundy shooting. We're gonna try to gently encourage the spirit to leave Hedrick alone by
I don't
shooting
think it. I don't
Hedrick,
think it
but
wants to.
gently.
Just remember, no touching of the face or hair.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. All right. So
That's the
we're
last.
not
That's the
using-
last statement Hedrick gets to make before he loses
Good.
control again.
And I feel like that's a statement that he made by the way he lived his life. We understand.
We all
so we won't
understand.
be using sharpshooter. We'll just be doing 3 shots to center of mass.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be, let's see, a 17 to 13, so a 30.
Yep.
Let's see, an 18 on the die, so that's a crit.
Mm-hmm.
And
you crit on 18s now. Fuck.
Yeah, I crit on 18s now. And let's see, 8 plus 13 is still a 21.
Okay.
All right, so
Damage. Let's see it.
2 plus.
I love that.
It's a D10. Where'd that D10 go? All that beautiful D10 footage. All right, so we dropped that one on the floor. All right, so that tells us that we weren't supposed to use it. Moving on.
Falling damage.
Yeah. So let's see. That's 3 plus 6, so 9. 12. And crit, which is going to be 10 plus 5, so that's 15 plus 6, 21, 9, 12, 21. It's 30, 42
Wow.
of
Okay, so just
piercing
let
damage.
me get this right. The first one was like 21.
My
Is it-
lowest on the dot. My lowest total was a 21 against AC.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure, like, damage total. Damage total. Was...
9, 12, and 21 were my 3 totals.
Oh, okay. Okay. I subtracted a whole lot more.
Yep.
Because
Nope.
you were giving me dice roll totals.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm like, holy shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Nope.
I have
9
my original, and the total is
42. 9, 12, and 21.
okay.
42
I'm
damage.
At 40.
Applied directly to the center
I
of
know
mass.
That's the calculated total.
All right.
Okay. And
Let's see.
Fran,
Other than
you're muted.
that, we're going to move. We are going to still keep that 30-ish feet of distance I had between myself and what is now
The sphere?
Hedrick.
Oh, what is now
but
Hedrick,
we're going to move towards the sphere, but keeping 30 feet from Hedrick, and that'll be my 30 feet of move. So hopefully that puts me maybe about 15 feet closer to the sphere, sort of on,
Okay.
at an angle.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of your turn. We're going to move to the top of initiative. Before we do, some stuff's happening now. Boris, because you kind of noticed fucking everything with your crazy passive perception, below you, you're starting to see that, there's more impacts now happening on all of the protective domes that are kind of surrounding and like popping up in different places, down in Uul below you. You can see like the impact of these columns, right, of like falling Modron, like impacting these domes, and you can kind of almost see like a ripple of like magical energy like from every hit. And those ripples, like in some of these domes, are now starting to like hit each other, and like the protection itself looks to be failing. So it does appear that some of the protections now down on the surface are failing, and the Modrons are getting through. It's hard to tell what else is happening, but you could definitely tell that those bubbles are not holding up very well. Above you, all you can see now is essentially, it almost looks like a thunderstorm, like a lightning storm is happening, because it's just literally a cloud of dust and then just flashing lights constantly. But you can't actually see the battle that is happening above you anymore, aside from just the now like constant flashing of lights and sounds of distant explosions. You can hear throughout it all though Vecna just cackling, but not really saying anything quite yet. Just they're still deeply embroiled in battle.
Can I tell where in this cloud the cackling is coming from? Or...
It's very loud and echoing all over the place.
Yeah,
it would be
it's
hard to
like
pinpoint.
thunder.
Yeah, because it's almost like it booms like almost through you, right? Because his voice is just so deep and like so loud that it's kind of hard to just like pinpoint it to a specific direction besides up.
We'll just get Jarrell to use his divine sense. No big deal.
So that's what's happening there. So as far as the bubble that's surrounding like the tower area, that seems to still be holding up, because there is a fair bit of spells being like flung into the air at these columns that are descending upon that particular area. Because it seems like I remember describing the last time that like they were kind of almost, it seemed like they were trying to funnel people towards the tower area and like get them maybe underground or something like that, or get them into the tower. But that still seems to be holding up, because that's where all of the people who are helping you fly right now currently are.
Yeah,
It's
right.
important to note what's happening with that, since that's the only reason y'all are up here to begin with this sort of modified fly spell that you are all enchanted with. So it's very important that the people who are concentrating on keeping this active on you are not interrupted or under duress. Boris, go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay. Well, if the people at the tower look fine, I'm going to ignore everything else that's happening below for now. I could probably kill Hedrick here, but I don't think I actually want to do that.
You could reduce Hedrick to 0 and not kill him, but knock him unconscious.
Yeah. Sorry, but is that our goal? Do we want?
I don't know. It doesn't really. That's not for me to decide.
Well, okay,
I don't know what Aura of Life would do in that situation either. Because that's like, once he's at 0, he's at 1.
Well, I'm saying that currently Hedrick is hostile. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it would not automatically affect him. He's not technically an ally currently.
It just
also
says heals all living creatures.
Okay. Well,
Like,
I mean, that's up to you.
Kind of one of the functions of it.
I guess we'll see what happens when that moment comes up.
He uses non-lethal smites.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, I saw 0 shoot him, so I'm assuming that the goal is to continue shooting Hedrick here. That's going to be Boris's quick decision making, and she is. I mean, and again, I guess we're still in the same formation, right? So Jarrell's still within 5 feet of his. So
He just put his hand on his forehead. Right. So.
Yep. So Boris is just going to, thwip a little dagger from
flick.
I don't know, like between Jarrell's legs, just like.
And I could have sworn I made this.
You didn't throw it right there.
I could have sworn I said that this dagger did more damage when you didn't throw it. I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought it was more what it did. Let me take a look.
Because it felt like it made more sense that if you're stabbing someone with it instead of throwing it at them, because you're up and close and personal, you should be rewarded with an additional D4 of damage. I feel like is what it was supposed
Yeah,
to
you're right. Deals plus 1d4 damage in melee range.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Read my character sheet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess instead, then, since I'm right there, I actually
You stab him.
come around and go, "Sorry, Hedrick," and stab him in the gut.
At 2, Boris.
And that's a 28, so I'm pretty sure that hits.
Yeah, sure does. Let's see the damage with the sneak attack.
Oh, well, that's not great. 38.
38 piercing damage. Magical. What's Hedrick got left? Let's see.
No way.
Dose hit points.
1.
Perfect.
2 hit points.
Yeah, he's not looking great. And again, another pained cry from the combination of Hedronezzar.
I don't like any of it.
Hedronezzar.
I used my bonus action to hide behind Jarrell while saying, "Sorry, Hedrick, I'm sorry."
Okay. Your bonus action would have to be to disengage, not to hide.
Oh yeah, okay.
If you want to try to move away from Hedrick and then use your bonus action to hide, I'm gonna get an opportunity attack. Sorry. You know what, Hedrick? I didn't mean to not include you. We are going to get an opportunity attack.
Disengage. I just use it to disengage, not actually
Okay.
hide.
How far back do you move then? Do you just move behind Jarrell? You're not hiding. You just
just behind Jarrell.
just
So
put
it's
you
like
just put
offset,
Jarrell
yeah.
between the two of you, essentially. Yes.
Yeah,
understand.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, essentially, functionally, it will kind of work to be the same here. It's just that, you're not going to get swung at.
Yeah.
when you're moving away. All right, perfect. That's going to take us to Pregnart. Pregnart, this is bad. This is really bad. Your friend is now possessed. You saw the same thing happen to your hamster friend. You know about the dangers of possession now, right? And this watery sphere, we're going to say, is also starting to plummet now to the ground.
I think I know the cure for this possession.
What do you got?
I'm gonna cast confusion.
Okay, what's the save?
Wisdom.
We have a wisdom save. Go ahead, Hedrick. Make the wisdom save, please.
Ooh. I think he's got it. Just double checking. Yeah. That is a 7.
Okay.
It's not gonna pass.
All right.
You see, that the spell. So what does it look like? What does your confusion spell magic look like as it affects Hedrick? You know what I mean? Like we never really like. I feel like Pregnart's spells must look really interesting.
I'm gonna twiddle my fingers around and mouth some nonsense, but what I'm saying doesn't match the nonsense that I'm mouthing. And what everybody actually hears is just a jumble of crazy syllables with like odd words thrown in, like tuberculosis and aubergine and ploy.
So what I'd like to picture is from Hedronezzar's perspective, it's the Saving Private Ryan moment where he's been shell-shocked, and he just got this dagger like in his gut, and then he's slowly panning past Jarrell, and past Zero, and then he sees this frog man waving his arms and like shouting nonsense in slow motion with that ringing.
Ebenezer's voice almost starts to speak, but then all that is able to come out is blubber.
Mucklux.
I got that reference. Shout out to all those who get that reference. Anyways, moving on. Anything else on your turn, Pregnart? That is
hang on. I think that comes along with some damage.
I don't think confusion does. You roll a d10 to determine what actions it takes, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think that happens on his next turn. I have you roll a d10, and then that's what happens, right? Because there should be a table associated with confusion.
Mm-hmm. He can do nothing. He can walk in a direction.
Right. He would.
Okay.
Attack the nearest ally. Yada yada.
I see. Yeah. I think that's all I do.
Okay. Sounds good. Hedronezzar is confused. We're going to go to Hedrick's turn. Hedrick, please repeat the intelligence saving throw for me. I guess you would have advantage still, maybe? Because you are within 5 feet of Jarrell? Maybe?
If you want to be nice.
Yeah, I'll be nice.
First one's a 13.
He says with a
The
smile.
second one's a natural 20. A different die.
That's number 3 tonight.
Bulbous Bouffant.
Something happens here. Hedrick, you feel like, okay, it's almost like it's if like as like you were moving deeper and deeper and further back from from just your perception of like what's happening outside of your eyes. Your attention slams back to the front, and this burst of energy comes out from Hedrick, and again, it's that big wisp, and you just kind of see it like shake violently, and then just head straight for and into the ley line.
Ooh.
I'll be nice. He
As
said earlier with a smile.
As Hedrick's eyes kind of like roll back and wiggle in his head, and he comes to. You can faintly hear the muttered words. Taste it.
Wow! What a callback! What a callback!
As he can't believe what has just happened to him. Usually, having someone else inside him doesn't bother him as much.
Uh-huh. That's good to know about Hedrick, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, Hedrick looks terrible, and that wispy form that had possessed him has now blasted into the ley line. And for right now, we're going to drop from initiative. Hi, everybody. What's going on? How's everybody feeling?
I mean, it's obviously suboptimal.
Yeah? There's no immediate reaction from the ley line.
Hedrick has to cure some wounds on himself.
Yeah, that's
He's
fine.
at
Do you have a second?
2 HP.
Thanks for letting me play Hedrick for a hot minute there. That was fun.
That was fun.
You know, I don't play bards very often, so I just feel like this was my chance.
Pregnar turns to Jarrell and he says,
Do we need a peanut butter cup?
I can't tell yet. I don't know if we're winning or losing.
Again, just the sounds of explosions and battle happening above you. More and more of these bubbles are starting to fail down on the surface. You can see now that there's actually been sort of a network, like almost like they have like a central bubble now around like the tower area, and then a ring of them that surround the outer walls that surround that campus. So there's almost like they're like stacked up now, forming almost like overlapping layers of protection.
Do we go help the people, or do we try to end that battle up there? It seems like if we could get rid of that giant robot god, perhaps the rest of the Modrons would leave as well. And that leaves us Vecna still, but...
I've got Vecna. Boris swaps her dagger for her shard and just shoot.
Oh, is she still trying to, like, give Vecna back
absolutely.
the
I'm
shard?
still trying to stab Vecna with the shard. I still think that's the best idea.
By stab, you essentially mean give him back. Become one once more with the missing piece of himself that I'm sure could only make him weaker. Yeah.
It's a future him. It's like putting a bag of holding inside a bag of holding. It'll just like, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
good
that's
for the whole
bad.
universe. Everyone.
this is
all right?
solid logic. I agree. I can't find any faults or cracks in this train of logic.
Is anyone trying to stop Boris from chasing? Because you said you're just off. You're like you. That's it. You're back off to the races. Is that right, Boris? Like you haven't like okay, this problem is
Yeah, I
gone
heard
for
that
now.
leaves Vecna. I said I've got Vecna, and like as I swapped daggers and shoot.
Okay, what's the plan for everybody else? I want to make sure I get what everyone else wants to do before the next thing happens.
You can hear Hedrick trying to sing a song as he's healing himself with spits of like gurgled blood like through his throat.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of that going on for you right now.
We battle for freedom, or haven't you heard? We've been sent to the past, and we'll save the world. I guess things won't be the same, but who can tell? Will our actions restore the plains again? It's the final showdown.
Jarrell would shout out to Boris, Boris, stop and get back here. Don't give him that back. And then he's trying to at least get Zero and Pregnart with him for whichever. If we go up or down, that's...
How about this, Jarrell? Roll me a persuasion check, and Boris, you either roll an insight or you can tell me whether maybe you just make a role-playing decision whether you want to actually like maybe stop for a second and consider what Jarrell has to say. So I'll let you. We'll let you decide based on this roll here. Jarrell, make me a persuasion check, please.
27.
27. Now, Boris, how hard is your heart set on just going on this solo mission? Fuck everybody else, and let's go stab Vecna by ourselves. like on a scale of 1 to like an absolute zealot here, like where would you say that you fall?
She's pretty sure that this will do something.
Well, yeah,
So, like,
but you're still running on
teetering
impulse.
off of the midline towards this possibly being a pro.
Okay.
Which was enough for her to shoot off and go decide to do it.
Right.
So at this point then, would you say that you would want to roll an insight here to try to see if you have that hesitation, or are you going to just say, nah, let's take a moment and talk?
Yeah, okay, Boris will stop where she is. She doesn't turn around, but she hasn't gotten very far yet.
Like that
Just
anime,
around.
anime, like stop. You like just turn your head over your shoulder for a little bit to like talk. Like that quick, dramatic sort of thing.
She's not still firing into the cloud because, as you mentioned, it's getting like right dusty up there. So she still wants to be able to like see. So she actually stops and like turns, I guess, in midair.
Jarrell floats over to her. Do you know what that is that you have in your hand?
Part of Vecna, but not from now.
And why do you think giving that back to him will help us?
Well, I feel like stabbing him with it'll just kind of break him.
Stabbing him with anything would be helpful, except that.
Why do you think stabbing him with this will be bad?
Because it just completes him further. I'm fairly certain he's either been using that specifically or looking for it. One of the two. Can Jarrell roll a religion check to know if he knows more about that? I feel like I have in the past and didn't know much.
About what exactly?
The shards of Vecna.
Sure. Why not? Now that they've actually been properly identified, because like when everyone was just seeking out all the different pieces, that everything came together, all the scrying gems and the orb and the, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't the completed third eye at that point either, but those were definitely slightly different shapes than these particular shards, because these are the shards of the completed third eye.
All right. I used my inspiration and I got a 19.
Okay. So this is a lesser known artifact. The more well-known artifacts of Vecna, right, are the ones that I feel like we all, and then in the meta we all know about, right? His left hand and his left eye. No one really talks about the third eye, but there's been some legends and some lore that the archivists of the Archclerisy of Valen managed to preserve, that just spoke of this artifact of dark power that gave Vecna sight beyond sight. But when he was imprisoned in like somewhere deep in the outer planes, in this like sort of like absolute like fortress of a prison that only housed him, this was the artifact that I guess he had in his possession and was trying to use to essentially like see into other planes and assault them. But it was, once he was imprisoned, it was destroyed, and its pieces were scattered.
So I tell that to Boris. This is specifically what you're trying to hit him with.
In Vecna's hands, you could assume that this would probably be one of the worst, like especially in its completed form. You have no idea what a shard would do, but in its completed form, it would probably be one of the worst things that could happen to the world and the known universe as we know it.
And multi-dimensional versions of said universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Boris looks at it in her hand for a second, and then looks at Jarrell and kind of looks at the cloud, and is just like, okay, so he should never get this then.
Don't just throw it down. We have to keep it with us.
I love that I love that you're already anticipating what her next move is. You have to talk her out of it before she even starts to, you know what I mean? Like you have to start talking her out of it before it's even a thing, because if you don't, she's just gonna do it.
Right.
This is our Hoplet timer.
Is really short. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we love about you, honestly. Thank you for bringing the another timer to the table.
the 1 second long timer.
There is always a timer. Yours is just the shortest one here.
So Boris
so
is
far.
like, well, we want to, or why wouldn't we want to destroy it then?
We do want to destroy it, but we don't have the means right now. And just throwing it somewhere random, he's going to be able to get it in a couple seconds.
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna do that.
The safest place for it right now is in your possession. And Jarrell will put his hand on Boris's shoulder. And how much health is Boris down?
40.
I can give you 39 health back.
Hedrick is also very injured.
Hedrick's at 35. I used 4 level 1 spells and 1 level 3 spell to cure wounds. And that got me 17 and 18. So
Okay.
I'm at 43 right now, total.
You have 2 friends who are very injured.
Well, I did heal Boris to just 1 point away.
Okay.
Cool.
And I can probably heal Hedrick for a little bit, but I'm focusing on Boris for now,
course.
trying to get her to not do something impulsive.
Well, in
None of
good
us-
faith, because Jarell has just healed Boris, she decides to say, okay, but what if I feed it to as she's opening her pocket instead of just feeding it to
Didn't
without
you try
saying
that
anything?
already?
We did not, actually.
You want to eat one of the most horribly evil things in the entire universe.
I
Your
believe
puppy.
that she had mentioned it once before, and then she was talked out of it then. But, I mean, you can't get what you want unless you ask for it again.
Multiple times.
Can I just say that we've tried this over a few times, and not once did we ever buy any healing potions?
I love it so much. I love it so much because, like, you live in a very magical time. Like, this is like one of the you would probably have very easily been able to find healing potions.
We could
Around
just have
town.
like camelbacks full of healing potion.
We could make
With all the
Boris-
gold bricks we're throwing around for random shit like find us a hamster.
No, but that I love that for all of you. I love that for all of you.
Like,
We're
no
throwing
one
around
in
gold
my
bricks
armor
and
anywhere.
sausages for the hamster.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. Right. You bought important stuff, but it was, what was important to you at the time, not to prepare for whatever was happening now. I mean, you could always eat the fish again, I guess, if we really want to do this again. It's up to you if you think that this is if this is the salvageable timeline or not. But speaking of whether or not this is a salvageable timeline, now is as good a time of any is to mention a new development.
Dun dun dun.
You can hear, you can't feel it because you are far up in the air, but you can hear the earth begin to shake. And there is sort of this, there's this like loud boom that happens just lower towards like the base of where you can see the ley line sort of meets the ground. And almost immediately a crack forms in the earth and splits horizontally and begins just spreading as far as your eyes can see. All the way across, out through Uul, splitting the city in half, splitting like the ground outside of the city limits, and literally, and just continuing on and on and on and on off into the horizon. Just this like almost like this like linear shockwave has gone out in polar opposite directions from the base of this ley line, and is literally splitting the ground and the earth like in half. Like you can't see how deep it goes. It doesn't appear to be massively deep, but it looks deep enough, and it's continuing to spread. Any of the protective bubbles that were there, including the ones that were around the tower area, because that's where it's originating from, right? Pop. And all of you suddenly feel a little, what's the word? Unsupported. And all of you begin to plummet to the ground. And that's where I'm going to call this episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. thank you all for listening. Guess we'll see what happens next week. But until then, if you want to yell at me, if you want to shake your fist at me, be like, Fran, how come you got to do this to us every week? Why you got to be so mean with these cliffhangers? You can come yell at me on the internet. We're on such places as Twitter and Instagram. Just look for @HaplessHeroes. We're also on Facebook and Reddit. Just look for Hapless Heroes Podcast. But really, you're just going to find some links in those places that are going to send you to where we consider to be the crown jewel of our internet presence, our Discord server, where we're constantly having conversations with our fans. We have spoiler tag discussions about episodes. We're talking about stuff that's related to D&D. We're talking about stuff that's not. And just, come in, join the conversation, be a part of us, tweet at us, whatever. Zach's managing that Twitter account. Yell at me through him, and then he can...
I can take
that.
it. You can yell at me directly, and I'll probably yell something inane back at you.
Yeah.
Without telling Fran.
Yeah. So do that. But yeah, find us on the internet, join us. It's great. Join our Discord. It's a super cool place to be. But if you really, really like us, I would suggest that you leave us a 5-star review or rating on the podcast service of your choice, because, we just love to hear the lovely things that you have to say about us. And we also want this show to reach as many other D&D fans and people as we possibly can. And every review gets us a little closer to that and more people looking at this awesome podcast. And if your podcast service does not allow you to leave a review, well, we also have a channel in that aforementioned Discord server called 5 Stars, where you can just say some nice things to us, and we'll read something on the air and say some nice things back to you, or even just email us at haplessheroes@gmail.com. And just talk to us. We want to talk to you too. It's pretty cool. But yeah, do that. And then if you really, really, really like us, you could donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/HaplessHeroes. We got a whole bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of bloopers I'm actually queuing up to upload if I haven't already by the time you're listening to this. But we have a ton of stuff. We have behind the scenes, we got Hedrick songs. We got a whole bunch of stuff for your listening pleasure right in there. It's just extra content to give back to you, because all of you have been so kind with your donations and really helping support the show, helping us, keep this equipment working and hosting costs down. And you're all the best. Seriously, the kid couldn't have done this all without you, and you're the wind in our sails. So thank you to our Patreon donors. You're the best.
And if you like us right now, you like us, Sally Field, and the whole deal. Fill a baby pool with chili, and then fill a backpack all filled with saltines and crush them all up in there, and then dump them into the baby pool filled with chili, and have yourself a nice little dip in the pool. Get into the pool and swim around. And that's it. That'll promote our podcast.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think so too. Well, that's where we add the classic line. If anyone asks you what you're doing, you just say the Hapless Heroes made me do it, in which we will completely deny that, and then
No, make sure you're shielded from anyone seeing you at all.
Just do it by yourself in private.
It's just a purely an act of
for
self-care.
you.
This is just another fill your bathtub with mayonnaise. Honestly,
No, you didn't have to get in then. You
That's
just filled
true.
it up.
That's true.
Now you have to get in.
Okay, I see. All right, well, you heard the man. If you really love us, that's one of the ways you can show us.
I'm pretty sure there was no specific direction against letting people see you fill your bathtub
with mayonnaise. That's true. No, it was not.
So
But we
people
have-
could have seen that. You could have promoted it freely. Do not let anyone see you in this baby pool filled with chili and saltines.
Under the cover of darkness.
Do not let anyone see you.
Under no circumstances should anyone see you do this.
And also wear a mask while you do it.
Yes, that's important, because you gotta protect yourself from the chili. So anyways, moving on, I guess.
And elbow pads.
Just gonna go ahead and outro this cast before this request gets even stranger. Starting on my virtual right with John playing Lord Jarrell the Light.
Until next time.
Zach as Pregnart.
Finally, I'm falling. Finally, I can cast Earthquake if we hit the ground.
One's already happening, right? You might have had your thunder stolen from you here.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to cast another one.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
There's already been an earthquake, Pregnard. We don't need two.
I need two.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
Goldfish, goldfish, goldfish!
And Dave as Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Good night, everyone.
And I'm Francesco, been your host and DM. We'll see you next week. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.